Hi boys and girls, I'm going to be reading chapter 6 today from Magic Treehouse Mummies in the Morning. Chapter 6 is called The Writing on the Wall. Jack and Annie squinted at the pyramid wall. A series of tiny pictures was carved into the stone. There were 4 pictures here, Jack told the Ghost Queen. Describe them to me, Jack. One at a time, please, she said. Jack studied the first picture. Okay, he said. The first one looks like this. He made a zigzag in the air with his finger. Like stairs? Asked the Ghost Queen. Yes, stairs, said Jack. Just like stairs. She nodded. That was easy enough, Jack thought. He studied the second picture. The second one has a long box at the bottom, he said. He drew it in the air. The Ghost Queen looked puzzled. With 3 things on top like this, said Annie. She drew squiggly lines in the air. The Ghost Queen still seemed puzzled. Like a hat, said Jack. Hat? Said the Ghost Queen. No, more like a boat, said Annie. Boat? Said the Ghost Queen. She sounded excited. Boat? Jack took another look on the wall. Yes, it could be a boat, he said. The Ghost Queen looked very happy. She smiled. Yes, of course, she said. Jack and Annie studied the next picture. The third one's like a thing that holds flowers, said Annie. Or a thing that holds water, said Jack. Like a jug? Asked the Ghost Queen. Exactly, said Jack. Yes, a jug, said Annie. Jack and Annie studied the last picture. And the last one looks like a pole that droops, said Annie. Like a curved stick, said Jack. But one side is shorter than the other. The Ghost Queen looked puzzled again. Wait, said Jack. I'll draw it in my notebook, big, so you can see it. Jack put down the scepter and got out his pencil. He drew the hieroglyph. A folded cloth, said the Ghost Queen. Really, said Jack. Yes, that is the hieroglyph for a folded cloth, said the Ghost Queen. Oh, okay, said Jack. He looked at the 4th hieroglyph again. He still couldn't see the folded cloth. Maybe it was like a towel hanging over a bathroom rod. So that's all of them, said Annie. She pointed at each picture. Stairs, boat, jug, folded cloth. Jack wrote the words in his notebook. Stairs, jug, boat, cloth. So what does the message mean? He asked the Ghost Queen. Come, she said. She held out her hand. Come to my burial chambers. And she floated away. I'm going to go ahead and read chapter 7, called The Scroll. Jack put the scepter and his notebook and pencil into his pack. The Ghost Queen seemed so kind and gentle. She wasn't afraid of her any more at all. Jack and Annie followed her deeper into the pyramid. Finally, they came to some stairs. The stairs, said Jack and Annie together. The Ghost Queen floated up the stairs. Jack and Annie followed. The Ghost Queen floated right through a wooden door. Jack and Annie pushed on the door. It opened slowly. They stepped into a cold, drafty room. The Ghost Queen was nowhere in sight. Dim torchlight lit the huge room. It had a very high ceiling. On one side was a pile of tables, chairs, and musical instruments. On the other side of the room was a small wooden boat. The boat, said Jack. What is it doing inside Queen Hotepi's pyramid? Asked Annie. Maybe it's supposed to carry her to the next life, said Jack. Jack and Annie went over to the boat. They looked inside it. The boat was filled with many things: gold plates, painted cups, jeweled goblets, woven baskets, jewelry with blue stones, and small wooden statues. Look, said Jack. He reached into the boat and lifted out a clay jug. The jug, said Annie. Jack looked inside the jug. Something's in here, he said. What is it? Asked Annie. Jack felt inside the jug. It feels like a big napkin, he said. The folded cloth, said Annie. Jack reached into the jug and pulled out the folded cloth. It was wrapped around an ancient-looking scroll. Jack slowly unrolled the scroll. It was covered with wonderful hieroglyphs. The Book of the Dead, whispered Annie. We found it. Oh, Jack traced his finger over the scroll. It felt like very old paper. Queen Hotepi, called Annie. We have it. We found your Book of the Dead. Silence. Queen Hotepi? A door on the other side of the chamber creaked open. Maybe she's in there, said Annie. Jack's heart was pounding. Cold air was coming through the open doorway. Come on, said Annie. Wait, no, said Annie. She's waited thousands of years for her book. Don't make her wait any more. Jack put the ancient scroll into his backpack. Then he and Annie slowly started to cross the drafty room. They came to the open door. Annie went through first. Hurry, Jack, she said. Jack stepped into the other room. It was nearly bare except for a long gold box. The box was open. Its cover was on the floor. Queen Hotepi? Called Annie. Silence. We found it, said Annie. Your Book of the Dead. There was still no sign of the Ghost Queen. The gold box glowed. Jack could barely breathe. Let's leave the scroll on the floor and go, he said. No, I think we should leave it in there, said Annie. She pointed to the gold box. No, said Jack. Don't be afraid, said Annie. Come on. Annie took Jack by the arm. They walked together across the room to the glowing gold box. They stopped in front of the box and peered inside. And that was the end of Chapter 7. Chapter 8 is called The Mummy, and I'll read more later. Bye.